Adana started making small printing presses in the 1920s, but the first vertical plating presses of the type we know today appeared in the early 30s. They were originally in two sizes, the tiny high-speed 1 and this model, the high-speed 2, often known as the 6x4 because of the size of its print area in inches. It's actually more useful than the later 5x3 because it can print a larger area, about postcard size, and indeed you can do items twice as big, such as Christmas cards in 2 runs by turning them over end for end. This is one of the very rare first models from 1934, so it's now over 80 years old, a piece of printing history as well as a fully working press. It's solidly made from cast iron, not the slightly flaky alloy of later machines, so it's heavy at 17 kilograms. There are some detail differences, for instance no name or number is cast into the base, but otherwise works the same way. The HS2 was eventually displaced in the 1950s by the well-known Adana HS2, seen here with its smaller sister. These presses come up from time to time on eBay. They can be a good buy, but watch for condition. Apart from rust and seized up bearings, check for parts which are missing, worn, damaged or broken. Some replacement springs, chases, ink discs and so on are available, but are very expensive. If the rollers are missing, which they usually are, replacements can be £40 to £60. Beware of any seller who can't tell you if it's in working order or not. The first task after cleaning and treating the rust is to oil the machine and check that everything works. Now fit the ink plate and see that the ratchet mechanism, which turns the plate round at each stroke, works. This sometimes needs a bit of adjustment. Next, fit the tympan padding. Traditionally there was a sheet of card, a few sheets of newsprint and tougher top sheets such as manila. However, modern craft printers might experiment with something softer if they're wanting a more embossed look. The small metal clips which hold the padding in place have almost always parted company from the machine a long time ago and replacements are unavailable. Caslin suggests taping the top sheet onto the press, but this makes it difficult to add or remove sheets from the packing quickly. Instead, I suggest you make your own clips by sewing short lengths off a document binding strip. Once the tympan's in place, fit the lay gauge, which has a groove to hold the bottom of your paper and is held in place by 2 wing nuts so it can slide up and down to size. Then install the gripper finger, which pulls the paper away from the type once it's been printed. Check that neither the gripper nor the lay gauge foul the type that you're going to use, as this would damage it. The rollers are critical for good printing. These are new polyurethane rollers. Later presses used plastic runners on the roller ends, but these have been fitted with the original metal ones from the original press. To attach the rollers, hold the handle down by pressing against it, then lift each of the spring-loaded carriers to slip the rollers into them. Check that the roller runners run up and down on the sides of the type bed. The HS2 comes with its own chase with a simplified locking system using a steel bar. You can use traditional coins if you want to, but there's no need. You can set type directly into the chase without the need to use a composing stick. Once it's done, simply lock it in by turning the grub screws against the steel bar or metal furniture. There's 2 more screws in the end if you're setting type in that direction. It doesn't need to be type, of course. The machine will happily take blocks such as wood cuts, lino cuts or polymer plates up to 16 by 10 centimeters, as long as they're mounted type high, which is about 23 millimeters. The chase slots into the bed of the machine and is secured with 2 more grub screws in the top. It's now time to do a trial print. Only a tiny blob of ink is needed. It's much easier to add more than to try and wipe off an excess. Put it on a sheet of glass and then roll it well to spread it out. Then roll it again onto the ink disc and transfer it to the rollers by moving them up and down. Make sure it's spread evenly to get the best results. Now we're ready to print. Make sure the ink is spread well over the type and then go for it. If you find the print is uneven, check the roller seatings and the timpan padding, but it may be that the type bed is out of alignment. Check by setting up 4 large pieces of type at each corner and doing a trial print. If one prints fainter than the others, adjust the corner screws at the back until they're all equal. Once finished, it's important to clean everything thoroughly. Remove the rollers and clean off the ink disc. Use white spirit, vegetable oil or water depending on the type of ink. Clean the rollers well, dried ink can damage them. Preferably store them off the machine on mounting so they're not touching anything. This helps to keep them the right shape. I hope this has been useful and enjoy printing.